But we see regulation happening across the US, across the world, that just gives consumers different rights as to what can happen with their data, around how that data can be shared and applied, and what happens if things go astray and somebody else gets access to it. That's what the regulation is meant to do. Now, the thing to keep in mind with regulation is regulation generally a little bit more ambiguous when it comes out, but we have time to prepare. So when we see things like CCPA, we know we have several years to get our systems and tools in place. We contrast that to technology changes. These are things like the deprecation of third-party cookies, but also what some companies are facing between iOS 14 no longer allowing app to web tracking. Some of these changes come a little bit faster, and they catch us off guard because it seems like almost overnight we lose insight and metrics, and we wonder how we react and how we respond. Can we manage campaigns to the same efficiency today as what we had a couple weeks ago? And so we have both the short and long-term areas of privacy change. And I would almost argue, if there was to be a third bucket here, there's also just changes in user behavior. How users decide that they want to be tracked, in some cases using a VPN, but more commonly using an ad blocker, where one number from eMarketer said that 1 in 4 internet users are using ad blockers. And it's not evenly distributed. If we go down to younger audiences, 18 to 24-year-olds, we may see that adoption go up into the 60% range, where they say we don't want to be tracked. And the way that we look at these is just to, first of all, acknowledge that they're there. People, consumers have the right to restrict who uses their data. Technology platforms can build and integrate products however they like. And of course, the regulatory environment will take its own shape. But perhaps most importantly, when we're looking at the impact of these changes to a business, always keep in mind that technology isn't going to remain stagnant either. So it's not to say, well, we're going to lose third-party cookies, but there's no other ways that we can reach and engage consumers. We may lose visibility into one-to-one tracking across devices or within app to web, but that doesn't mean there aren't other techniques that we can use that manage the expectation of privacy from users. So really the large takeaway from this is that even though these things are happening, they're spurring an industry to change. And to say third-party cookies have gone well beyond what they were originally intended to do, and now consumers are asserting control, and the industry is adopting, and the industry is changing.